Good morning, May 18, day of the plague, 2:20. I woke up thinking I must read Karl Kraus. I read Walter Benjamin's wonderful essay on Karl Kraus. I must read him in German. The translation is terrible, and so I decided to learn German. So Eric, at 9, if you are hearing me, I am going to take your German class at the Goethe Institute when they let me out. I also need a haircut. I need a haircut. A man with a map of Poland on his head, a bald man with a map of Poland on his head, dissolved the Soviet Union, and a man with an orange wig is starting a civil war under the banner, I need a haircut. Well, the hair curtain fell between generations east and west long before the Iron Curtain fell. That we know. We also know that the day the Beatles released Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, the Iron Curtain fell. It took 3 decades of tanks in Prague, burning cities, Chicago, riots, the lifting of the Pentagon, until the great hair rebellion that grew for decades like kudzu was fully on. And it really did take 3 decades of tanks in Poland and burning cities for bold men to admit defeat. And 3 decades of tanks and 3 decades more until the rebels lost their hair. Utopia surrendered in the barber chair. For millennia, you could tell men from women by their hair, until you couldn't. For millennia, too, you could tell aristocrats from commoners by their hair, until the guillotine put a rather crude end to it. Hairstyles in Egypt, look it up, I did. They wrote Egyptian hairstyles in Egypt, wrote Egyptian history until the Greeks took up the torch of the hairstyles of their gods, and the Minoan and Cretan hairstyles. Empires fall under hair, or empires fall like hair under the scissors of the cosmic barber. Each decade brings with it its signature of hair. Until the barbershops of history, well, the barbershops of history will never be deserted. Until bald men in power admit defeat. History will not end as long as people look in the mirror or in the camera, as I'm doing now, in confinement. Can you write a Decameron for one? Is it possible? A Decameron in which 10 young people don't flirt, 10 people with a lot of hair? History truly will not end as long as people look in the mirror to see if their hair matches their ideas, or if their ideas match their hair. A man with a map of Poland on his bald head dissolved the Soviet Union. A man with an orange wig is starting a civil war under the slogan, I need a haircut. There is something here that makes one look for wigs and guillotines. And you can rarely be done with hair when a history of it would take thousands and thousands of pages and possibly involve every human in the planet. Has any human ever not thought about their hair or seen a mirror or a stream without seeing their hair? I'm not sure it is a profound question, but it certainly would give birth to 1 million theses about hair, or give birth to as many theses as I have hairs. So it would be one thesis per hair. And if you think I'm going crazy alone, looking at my face, you are wrong. I hit on an important history. Some may have been written already, but not to the moment. It is a history that renews itself, whether there is another kind of history alongside it or not. I read Benjamin all night. I'm convinced that Karl Kraus is one of the greatest writers who ever lived in the German language, and I have to read him in German. So that is a great personal gain. Today, I woke up thinking both of Karl Kraus, and I wanted to tell somebody, and I looked around and there was nobody around to tell. I looked at the clock, it was 8:45 a.m., and then I thought, this is late, but I am content. I feel that I should read Karl Kraus. I feel the hair is important. In the 60-second mythology, which I immediately consulted when this happened, I also asked around when I woke up, do you want to hear something? Well, the only one person to hear something of this magnitude, Karl Kraus and hair, was me, here, talking to my face. And so I opened the 60-second mythology to find out not about Medusa and her hair, but about the oracular question, what is it about Karl Kraus and hair? And the 30-second mythology, man, time has become this flexible substance like Jello. The 30-second mythology opened at a page called Monsters. Well, among other things, Walter Benjamin calls Karl Kraus a monster. Kraus was a journalist, a poet, a playwright, a wit, a Twitterer before his time, a great man. And here are the monsters. 30-second monster, a chimera, which is capable of breathing fire, as you well know. It as an offspring of Eridna, Echidra, which, if I'm not mistaken, was either a fate or a very early god. Cyclops, and then the labyrinth in which the monster was trapped. And that is probably the most apt of all the monsters, because I feel like I am at the center of a labyrinth. It's a labyrinth not of my making, and there is no Daedalus, unless indeed this virus is intentional. But that would be Daedalus point 2. But I do feel that it will take a while to get out of here, and eventually I will, if Ariadne shows up with her spool of string. I also see metamorphosis, which is the transformation of a human being in a time agreed upon by everybody into a monster in the time of the plague, to which I did not agree, but which has made both of time a mystery, of place a labyrinth, and of me a monster who'd like to escape. Ariadne desiring monster. I think this is all I am going to speak about today. Well, I called it today. Well, whatever it is, in this particular slice of time. And I'll see you on the other side in a couple of days.